This is poolplaza.com, and we're going to talk about the salt chlorine generating systems that so many people are using now to create chlorine in their pools. Every pool has to have a sanitizer to kill bacteria, viruses, and other organisms in the water and prevent the water from turning green with algae. Most of people who have pools have had experience with actually buying chlorine and putting it in the water or putting it in chlorinators in the form of tablets. This task is an unpleasant task, can often injure you in different ways, and it can smell bad and leave a mess. Because of that, many people are now going to the salt chlorine generating systems, which are much easier to operate, not messy, and they do not require you to buy chemicals that have to be stored on your property or in the area of the pool. When you buy a salt chlorine generating system, you get three basic components. You get the salt cell, you get a flow switch which helps the cell determine if water is flowing through it, and you get a control center or power center that operates the cell, supplies electricity to it, and does tests to determine if there are problems with the system and alerts you with information on the control center. When you purchase and install a salt system, you will install the cell on the return line where the water leaves all the other equipment and goes back into the pool. The last thing the water does before it goes into the pool is flow through this cell. On the inside of the cell are flat metal plates, and when the water is going through the cell and the cell is electrified, it separates the chemical components of the salt molecules so that chlorine is made. Every salt system has some sort of flow sensor that tells the salt cell whether water is flowing through the system at an acceptable speed. If water is flowing through the system, the cell comes on and generates chlorine. If water is not flowing through the system at an acceptable rate, the cell will be turned off by the flow switch. The power center and the main circulating pump are going to be tied together in some way so that the power center comes on when the pump is running and periodically tells the salt cell to generate chlorine. If the pump is not running, the power center should not be on, the cell should not be on, and no chlorine will be generated. In order to make the system work, you have to put salt in the water. The salt that you use for a chlorine generating system is the same salt that you eat in your food, but you buy it in bulk in 40 or 50-pound bags and put it in the pool water. In order to put the correct amount of salt, you have to know how much water, how many gallons, are in your pool. And you add enough salt for that number of gallons to bring the salt reading up to about 3,200 parts per million. The power center, in addition to controlling power to the salt cell, also will let you know whether the salt level in the pool water is too high or too low. In addition, it has controls that allow you to adjust the level of chlorine you want to be made by the salt cell, and a shock mechanism in the event that you have algae or other problems with the water that will increase the amount of chlorine over a short period of time. There are switches and lights on the power center and an LED readout that will give you the information you need to operate your system. None of this, however, means that you can stop doing water testing. You still need to test your water regularly and make adjustments. But one of the adjustments you should not have to make is adding chlorine to the water. Unfortunately, the cells of salt systems don't last forever. They're made to work a certain number of hours, and most salt cells will last you 3 to 5 years. Once there's a problem with the salt cell, a warning will appear on the power center, and you can have the cell tested. If the cell is worn out, you simply buy a replacement cell of the same type that you already have and replace the existing cell with the new one. This is an easy process in most systems. Most systems come with union fittings that you will attach to your plumbing, and when it's time to change the cell, you'll unscrew these fittings, put the new cell in, tighten the fittings back on the new cell, plug it in, and you'll be ready to go again. Pool Plaza has a number of different salt systems on the website that will fit any type of pool. The salt system does have to be the correct one for the pool based on the size of the swimming pool and the amount of water in it. You can also get parts to repair the salt system if you have an existing system, as well as test kits and other items to help you take care of the system and the rest of your pool. You can reach us at poolplaza.com, email us at info at poolplaza.com, or call us at 214-221-6900.